How you doing there? Welcome back to Babylon Talmud. Today we're studying Daf Tzadi Aleph, Daf 91 of Masechta Sanhedrin. Friends, your friends. Okay, well, Daf Tzadi Aleph, Chaver, the next 3 weeks there's going to be these just humongo pages. So yeah, we're doing another humongo page. I did Chazara on this Daf at a bar mitzvah. I was at a bar mitzvah yesterday, and I did Chazara on this Daf there, as well as half of tomorrow's Daf. So, yeah, there might be stuff that I just don't know. Hopefully not too much of that stuff. Alright, here we go. We're going to start on Daf Tzadi Amud Beis, all the way at the bottom. Amrei Keser Rabban Gamliel. So the Caesar says to Rabban Gamliel, Amisu de Shichvei Chaye. So you say, Rabban Gamliel, you say that dead people come alive, that is Tchias HaMesim. Hohavu Afra, V'Afra Mikol Chaye. Wait, 1 second. Sorry, I'm a little bit congested. I don't know why. Kind of came out of nowhere. I hope it's gonna not get more severe. Amisu Shichvei Chaye, Ho'afra Havu, but they're dust. V'Afra Mikol Chaye. How does dust come to life? Amra le brate, so the Caesar's daughter says to Rabban Gamliel, Shavke, leave him, v'anama adrana le, leave it, and I'm gonna respond. Let me handle my father. Shnei Yitzrim yesh be'irenu. We have 2 craftsmen in our city. Echad yotzer min hamayim v'echad yotzer min hatit. One is able to craft from water, and the other one crafts from earthenware. Which is sort of the more, more highly skilled, more prized type of craftsman. To be able to create, like a pot or a jug out of water. And say you create out of earthenware. How do you create a pitcher out of water? It stores water, but how do you create a pitcher, or a container and make it out of water? What does that mean? So Amra Lei, so she says to her father, Mina Moyim Tsar Minatit Lo Kol Shekain. Well, the Rabbeinu Shalom creates human beings out of a liquid, out of semen. And from that liquid creates a physical body. So that certainly if the Rabbeinu Shalom can create a physical body out of liquid, certainly then the Rabbeinu Shalom can create a physical body out of dirt, out of earth. The Rabbi Shmuel Tanu is telling Rabbi Shmuel Kavachomer Klei Zchuchis, that it's taka Kavachomer from glassware. Ma Klei Zchuchis Sha'amolon Beruach Basav Adam. That how do you create glass? I think it involves blowing. I think you get the glass really, really hot, really, really, really hot, and then I think maybe you blow into some kind of thingy and it expands it. I can ask my friend Aviva Karin. She makes glass. But anyways, so you have a human being who blows into glass, nishbru yesh lein takone, and yet when the glass breaks, you could fix it. How do you fix glass? You heat it up again and you make a nochamo. So, basar v'adam sheberuchai shalakadosh baruch hu, a human being who has in them the spirit, the breath of none other than the Rabbeinu Shalom. So then alachas kama v'chama, so then certainly it should be able to be fixed and resurrected. Amar le au mina le Reb Ami, a certain min said to Reb Ami, you say that the dead are resurrected, but they're dirt. How could dirt come to life? So Amar le, so Reb Ami responds, I will give you a parable to what this is like. Lemelech basav adam, to a king of flesh and blood, that he says to his servants, Lichu uvnuli paltun gedelim b'makom she'ein mayim ve'ofer. I want you to go and build me a great, grand palace in a place where there is no water and no earth. And sure enough, amazingly, halchu vanu. Also, they did it. They did it. They built a palace without any water and earth. Layomim naflu. At a certain point, it fell down. Whatever palace they built. And he says to them, "Chizuvnu also b'makom sheyesh offer mayim. Now I want you to go and rebuild me this palace, but this time you have water and you have earth." He says, "What do you mean? We can't do it." And he got upset with them. And he says, "It makes no sense. Where you didn't have the earth and water, you were able to build a palace. I would expect that now that you have the raw materials to begin with, certainly you should be able to build the palace." So I think the mashal being, the nimshal being, that if the Rabbeinu Shalom can create a human being out of liquid, out of semen, then certainly it can create a person out of raw materials, out of earth. And if you don't believe, say Levika, go out to the valley Ure'eh and see Achbar. Apparently there was some kind of mouse. Shayom chetzio basar v'chetzio adama. Interesting that it would be partly flesh. I don't know. It would it would evolve, and at one point, at one stage, it's partially dirt, partially earth, and then it becomes fully flesh. Lemocha hishritz v'naisa kulo basar, and it's entirely flesh the next day. So you see that earth becomes a live being. Shema Tomar Lizman Ruba, maybe you'll say, I guess it takes a long time. Alei Lahar Ure'eh, go up to the mountain and see Shayom Ein Bo El Chilazon Echad, see that today there's only one Chilazon. Lamacha Yedu Geshavim and Ismaili Kulo Chilzonis, and then tomorrow it rains, and all of a sudden there's lots of these Chilazons, and I guess the point is that these things can happen relatively quickly. Okay. Amle Omina Ligvia Ben Psiso. A certain min says to Gvia Ben Psiso, Vai Lechon Chayavaya, woe is to you, Nudniks, the Amrisun Meisei Chayin, because you say that the dead are resurrected. The Chayin Meisei, the Meisei Chayin, I don't understand. The live people die. Not Fakert. Well, you can tell me that dead people live? No, Fakert. Live people die. How are you going to tell me? If people who are alive die, people already dead must stay that way. Omalei, so Psisa responds, Gvia Ben Psisa responds, Omalei, Vai lechon chayavaya, woe is to you, Nudniks, Damrisun Meisei lo chayin, that you say that the dead do not come back to life, Delo habu chaye, that those that didn't exist at all ever come to life. Dehave chaye lo kol shekain. Well, those that were already alive to begin with, certainly they should be able to come back to life, right? If when they never existed, they can exist, well then once already they existed, certainly they should be able to continue to exist or to re-exist. Omarle, to which this min responds, Chayavaya karusli, you're calling me a nudnik? Ika imna ba'itna bach ufashitna le'ukmusach minach. Well, if I have the opportunity, what's ika imna? I don't know. Maybe if I have the opportunity or something, I will kick you so hard it will straighten out your humpback. Malay, to which Gvia Ben Psisa responds, Im ata ose kain, if you can get rid of my hunchback, mamish gewalt. Rofe umun tikari, you'll be called an expert doctor. V'socha harbe tito, you'll be able to charge a lot of money. On the 24th day of the month of Nisan, is netilu dimosnoye mihuda mirushalayim. I think it's like Shmendrix. It says Orin Ba'alei Hamas, the people from Hamas, Shari wrote in Lito Chelik B'Yehuda V'Yerushalayim, that they wanted that they made a claim to Yerushalayim. And on the 24th of Nisan, they were removed from Judah and Jerusalem. Kishabo b'nei Afrikaya, when the people from Africa came, Lodin Yisrael to be judged with the Yidden, to come to court to make a claim against the Yidden. Lifnei Alexandra's Mokdon, they made this claim in front of Alexandra's Mokdon. Amru Loi, they said to Alexandra's Mokdon, Eretz Canaan Shalanuhi, Eretz Canaan is ours. It doesn't belong to the Jews. They're colonizers. Israel belongs to us. The Pasuk says, Eretz Canaan l'gvulosel. Because the Pasuk, it says in the Torah itself, that Israel is referred to the land of Canaan. V'Canaan avun dehanu inshehava. And Canaan is our ancestor. Amlu Gviya ben Psisa, Lachacham Gviya ben Psisa says to the sages, Tenu li rishus, give me permission ve'elich v'adon imoyin, and I will go and I will respond to this claim. Lifnei Alexandra's Mokdon, in front of Alexandra's Mokdon, in Yinatz Chuni, and if they prevail over me, where am I? Imru, so say, Hedjit Shabon nitzachtem. So just say, oh wow, whoop-de-doo, you succeeded in out arguing just a hedjit, a regular guy, a Tom, Dick, and Harry. V'im ani anatzeach, but if I am victorious in my argument, says Gviya ben Psisa, Himani anatzeach osam imru lahem, tell them Torah's Moshe nitzchaschem, that the Torah of God, of Moshe, has won. So they gave permission to Gviya ben Psisa to go, and he went and he made his arguments. He says to them, where are you bringing this argument from? Where are you bringing your proof from? They said, well, we just quoted you a pasuk from your own Torah that says that, right, it refers to the land of Israel as the land of Canaan. Canaan is our ancestor. Gviya ben Psisa says to them, okay, so I'll also bring a proof from the Torah. I'll bring another pasuk. The pasuk says, "Vayomer Aru Canaan Eved Avadim Yeh Le'echov." That Canaan, the same ancestor who you're talking about, it says in the pasuk that he's cursed and that he will be a slave to his brothers. Who were his brothers? Shem and Cham. Well, Canaan was the child of Cham, and it says Eved Avadim Yeh Le'echov. So I guess that is a reference to Yafes and Shem. And therefore, Memele, Canaan is a Eved of Shem, and the Yidden come from Shem. So Canaan is therefore their Avod, right? They are the Adon over Canaan, and Memele over these Afrikanim. So Eved shekona nechasim, Eved lemiv nechasim. So when an Eved is kona nechasim, who does the property belong to? It of course belongs to the Adon. It belongs to the Yidden. V'lo, not only that, el sharei kamashonim shaloi avad tunu, and not only that, you haven't been serving us for many years. You owe us quite a bit, in fact. Alexandra's malka echziru lo tshuve. And Alexandra's Malka, Alexandra says to these, what were they called? These Afrikayas. Respond. Do you have a response to that? Right? So Amrulo, they said to Nalan Uzman Shlosh, give us 3 days. Nasan Loen Zman, so 3 days were granted. But Kuvulomatsu Tshuva, the Afrikayas tried but were unable to come up with a response. Miyad, immediately Barchu, they ran away. Ve'enichus dosen kshenzuos v'chamin kshenituos, and they left over fields that were already planted, as well as vineyards that were already planted. And the kicker is that year was Shemitah, which means that the Yidden were really able to use those fields that were left in their hands fully worked. The Egyptians came to make to give the Yidden a hard time. Before Alexander smoked him. I think that this taka happened actually recently, that the Egyptians made the claim that the Yidden owe them lots and lots of money, because the Torah says that when the Yidden left Egypt, they took a lot of money. So right, it says that the Yidden, right, the Rabbanu Shalom put the chen of the Yidden in the eyes of the Egyptians, and the Egyptians lent to the Yidden all sorts of klei kesef and klei zav, etc. So give us back the gold and silver that you took from us. Omar Gvir ben Psisa l'chacham. So Gvir ben Psisa says to the chacham, Tenu lanu reshus, give me permission ve'edon ve'odon imoyin, and I will go and respond. Lifnei Alexandros, before Alexandros. If they are victorious, Imru Laim, say to them, okay, you just defeated sort of a Tom, Dick, and Harry. Also, but if I am victorious, Imru Laim, say Torah's Moshe Rabbeinu nitzchaschem, that the Torah was victorious. So they gave Gvir ben Psisa permission, and he went to court with them. And he says to them, he says, where are you bringing your proof from? They said, from the Torah. It says that the Yidden received gold and silver from the Egyptians. So Gvir ben Psisa says, so I'll also bring a proof, a counter argument from the Torah itself. Shneimar, as the Apostle says, that the length of time that the Yidden were in Egypt, the Yidden were in Egypt for 430 years. Will pay us back, therefore. We were slaves in Egypt for 430 years. So 600,000 Yidden in Egypt for 430 years. That comes out to a lot of money. We want payback. Alexander Smokton says, hey, what are you going to respond? They said, give us 3 days. So he gave him 3 days. Badku, they checked. They couldn't find this satisfactory answer. And they left their fields that were seeded and their vineyards that were already planted, and they ran away. And that year was Shemitah. I think Taka last night at the Bar Mitzvah, I think maybe this section, possibly, I can't remember, this section of the Gemara I was learning with my friend Adiel. I think we may have been learning this part of the Gemara. I can't remember. I think I was learning with somebody. I can't remember. Yeah, Adiel's a Talmud Chacham. Yeah, he was teaching me, he's a young Talmud Chacham. He was teaching me about what he was learning. We were learning Bava Kama together, Perek HaManiach HaSakad. Yeah, that was good. He's also learning Masechta Rosh Hashanah. He's a big Talmud Chacham. And he gave me some feedback on Babylon Talmud. He made some suggestions for Babylon Talmud that hopefully I will implement at the right time. Okay, so hopefully this is not the last that we are hearing. Hopefully this is not the last time we're hearing from Ariel. V'shuv pam noch a time, achaz bo b'nei Yishmael v'nei Keturah ladun im Yisrael. The children of Ishmael and Keturah came to judge with the Yidden. Lifnei Alexander Smokton, for Alexander Smokton Amulo, and they said to him, Eretz Canaan shalanu v'shalachim, that Canaan, that Israel doesn't just belong to you. It belongs to us too. Now the Bnei Ishmael claim that it entirely belongs to them, that it doesn't belong to the Yidden at all. But back then, they simply wanted to make the argument that at least they should be entitled to some of Eretz Yisrael. I guess like a two-state kind of thing. The pasuk says, "Ve'elu toldos Yishmael ben Avram." Says these are the toldos of Yishmael ben Avram. Ve'elu toldos Yitzchak ben Avram. These are the generations of Isaac ben Avram. Okay, and I guess that they are both in Israel. Ameloin Gvir Ben Psisa says Lachacham Tanuli Rishos, give me permission ve'elich v'adon imoim, and I will judge with them. Lefnei Alexandros Moktanim in Yinatzchuni Imu Hedjich Manu Nitzachtem ve'im Ani Anatzech Osam Imu Loim Teres Moshe Rabbeinu Nitzchaschem Tanu Nastu Lo Rishos Allah v'adon imoim Ameloim Meichan Atem Mvin Raya Amru Lo Minateris. He says to them, where are you bringing your proof from? They said from the Holy Torah. He says, Afani Lo Yavi Raya Elam Minatorah. I'll also bring a proof from the Torah. Shnem Vayitin Avram as Kol Asher Lo Liyitzchak. And it says that Abraham gave everything that belongs to him to his son Isaac. However, to the sons of the Pelagshim, for example Hagar, the mother of Yishmael, Asher Avram, Nosan Avram Matanus. He gave them gifts. That's what he gave them. Avshanosan Agatin Livonov. A father who gives gifts to his sons in it while he's alive, and then sends away the people with the gifts. Klum yesh lo ze al ze klum. What do you think that the one who was sent away with the gifts can now come back and make other claims? No, he got what he received and was sent away. So therefore, Yishmael has no claims. And it's Yisrael. My matanis, what are the gifts? Amar Rabbi Yirmiyah bar Abam Lam Shemosalem Shem Tuma. He gave to them Shem Tuma. Rashi says Kishu Fumaise Shedim. All sorts of hocus pocus. Amar Antoninus LeRebbe. Antoninus says to Rebbe. We're going to learn more about Antoninus and Rebbe Masechta Avodah Zarah, which is coming up in about a month, 3 months. Probably about between 3 and 4 months from now, we'll be learning about this. So Antoninus LeRebbe, about the relationship between Antoninus and Rebbe. So Antoninus says to Rebbe, Guf and Neshama Yichol Lifter Atzma Min Adin. The body and the soul are able to, each one can kind of like this, sneak themselves out of the judgment, right? Meaning if the Rabban Shalom comes to judge the body and the soul, right, the souls can make an excuse and the body can make an excuse. Ketzad, how so? Guf Omer, the body says, Neshama chatos, it's the soul that sinned. Shem Yom shepershim mimeni, harini muto ka'evin domim bekever. Right, because the body claims that, here's my proof. Ever since the soul departed from me, right, this is after death, ever since the soul departed from me, you see, when it's just me alone, I'm just lying here doing nothing in a grave. Clearly, when I'm on my own, I don't sin. It's the neshama that made me sin, that caused the sinning. V'neshama omeres, and the soul argues, guf chata, it's the body that sinned. Shemem sheperashti mimenu, that sins ever since I left the body. Ha'ina parachas baver kitzipper. I'm just running around, I'm just flying around in the ether like a bird, not harming anybody. It's the body's fault for any trouble that there was. So Rebbe says, look, I'll give you a parable. The Melech Basav Adam, to a king of flesh and blood, he had a very beautiful orchard, and they were gewaldige looking first fruits. That sounds very geschmack. And he put 2 guards on the orchard, so nobody should take his choice fruits. Now, they were a peculiar pair because one was lame, unable to walk, and the other one was blind. And the lame one says to the blind one, look, B'chayris no'ois ani roya b'fardes. So the lame one says, look, I can see that there are some very geschmacka looking fruits in the orchard. However, I cannot go and get them because I can't walk. Ba'akiveni, now you can't see, but I can see, so why don't you put me on your shoulders, and I will guide you to them. And we'll bring them and we will eat them. Rachav chiger al gabi suma. So the chiger went on top of the suma ve'evium, and they went to the fruits and they brought them back v'chalum, and they ate them. Liyom ba bal pardes. Now eventually the owner of the orchard came back. And he says to them, B'charis noy seichanin, where are the gishmake fruits? Omerlo chiger. So the chiger says, klum yesh li raglaim lahalich bain. Don't look at me. How would I walk there? I don't have my legs don't work. Suma, and the blind one says, Klum yesh einayim liros What? I mean, how could I have taken them? I can't see where they are. I don't even know that they exist. I can't see them. Ma'asa, so what did the king do? Right? Because the owner was the king, right? Yeah. So the king, where am I? Hirkiv chiger al gabi suma, so he put the chiger on top of the suma, v'dan osam ke'echad, and that way he judged them together as a unit capable of stealing the fruits. HaKadosh Baruch Hu made neshama v'zarka baguf. The Rebbeinu Shalom comes and takes the neshama and puts it in the guf, v'dan osam ke'echad, and joins them and judges them jointly. Shneimar Zbaz says, Yikra el hashamayim me'ol ve'la'aretz lodin. I think Amo. Amo. That he calls to the heavens above and to the land to judge his nation. Yikra el hashamayim me'ol zo neshama ve'la'aretz lodin Amo ze aguf. That he judges the guf and the neshama tzazamen together. Antoninus says to Rebbe, Pneima chama yotze b'mizrach v'shokaz ma'ariv. How come the sun rises in the east and sets in the west? Amalei, Rebbe responds, Hava ipcha nami achi hava omatli. I don't understand. If it was fakert, you would have asked me the same kasha. Why does it rise in the west and set in the east? Amalei, Antoninus responds, Achi ka amina lach. This is what I'm asking him. Pnei mashokaz b'ma'ariv. How come the sun sets in the west? It could just rise in the east and then set in the east as well. Why doesn't it set in the west? Rebbe responds, to say Shalom Aleichem to the Rebbeinu Shalom, which in the Rebbeinu Shalom is in the west. So therefore it sets in the west. Shenemar, as Paul says, Utzva Shmaim Licha Mishtachavim, and the legions of the heaven bow down to you, and therefore that is why the sun goes to the west. Amalei, V'teisi ad palga d'Rakia v'sitein shalma v'seil. But Antoninus continues and asks, but why doesn't the sun just rise halfway into the sky, and from there we'll be able to see towards the west, say Shalom Aleichem, and immediately set? Mishum payalim mishum oivdei drachim. Well, because of the workers and the people who are traveling, meaning it's important that the sun sort of gradually moves from the east, rises to the top of the sky, and then sets in the west, so that it's a sort of journey, and people who are outside and working outside can follow the journey of the sun to know when to wrap up their work. But if it just suddenly goes dark, then that would be tricky for people that need to kind of be able to know, oh, I need to wrap up my work, or oh, it's starting to get dark, I better find a place to sleep. Things like that. Antoninus says to Rebbe, Neshame meimosai nitna ba'adam. When is the neshame? When does it enter into a person? B'shas pikido mishas yitzira. Is it from the time of conception, or from the time of 40 days later? Amalei mishas yitzira. So Rebbe says 40 days later. Omar lei efshir chaticha shel basar omed shloisha yom b'loy melach. I don't understand. How could this developing baby go 40 days without a neshama? A piece of meat, you leave it out for 3 days, it's no good already. How could this developing baby go 40 days without a neshama? El mishas pekida, rather it must be from the time of conception already there's a neshama. Amar Rebbe Davizet limdeni Antoninus. Antoninus taught me this thing. Umikra Misayo, and there's a pasuk supporting him. Shenema ufkudasech shamra ruchi. Ufkudascha shamra ruchi. And I guess the point being, from the time of Pekuda, there's already a ruach, there's already neshama. Antoninus says to Rebbe, when does the evil inclination start being active in a person? Mishas yitzira or mishas yitzia? Is it from the time is it from when the embryo or something is created, like from 40 days in to the pregnancy? Or is it when the baby is born? Mishas yitzira, Rebbe says from 40 days. Amalei, Antoninus responds, Imkain, if so, boyet b'mei imo v'yotze. But then if he has an Yetzer Hara already from 40 days, he's going to start kicking and come out way too early. El mishas yitzia, rather must be from the Yetzer Hara is from the time that the baby is born. Amar Rebbe Davos elimdeni Antoninus, and once again Rebbe says Antoninus taught me this. Umirkum Misayo, and a pasuk supports him. Shnema lefesach chatas rovetz, that at the entrance that when the baby's going out to the big world, that is when Chatas Rovetz, that is when there is the Yetzer Hara. Rish Lakish asks Siv, on the one hand the pasuk says, Bam Iver Fiseach Harav Yoledes Yachtov, that it says that during Tchias HaMesim there's going to be a Iver and a Pisech, that when people are resurrected, if they were blind before, they'll still be blind. If they were lame before, they'll still be lame. But then it says, Uchsiv Oz Yidale Ka'ayal, where am I? Where am I? Oz Yidale Ka'ayal Piseach Visarin Lashon Ilem. Kinivku b'amidbar mayim nuchalim ba'arava. That be'etzem somebody who's unable to walk will be able to run around, and somebody who's unable to speak will be able to babble on Talmud. So what's the deal? On the one hand, we said if you're blind, you'll still be blind. On the other hand, you're saying that like you won't still be blind. So okay, said omdim b'muman misrapin. Well, what happens is initially when they're resurrected, they're resurrected in the same way that they were resurrected, as they were when they died. But then it gets fixed. Ula asks, Siv bila moves lo netzach. It says that death will be swallowed up forever. Umocha Hashem dimim yakol ponim. The Rebbeinu Shalom will erase tears from every face. Uchsiv ki hanar ben mea shana yomos, and it says that a lad will die at 100 years. Lo yeh misham od ol yomim. Don't be any yoke of days. So on the one hand we're saying that bila amavis lo netzach, and then the other hand we're saying that people are going to live for 100 years. Is it 100 years or forever? Lo kasha can be stroll, can bov dekchom. By the Yidden, it's forever. Bila amavis lo netzach. But for the Ovdei Kochavim, it's 100 years. For Ovdei Kochavim, my bo asim. Why are there Ovdei Kochavim there? In the Olam Haba. Hanach d'chsib behu. It's or Yemos Mashiach maybe. It is the ones, I guess by Tchias HaMesim, the ones who it says by them v'amdu zarim v'ro tzonchem uvnei necher ikarechem v'charmechem, that the foreigners are going to shepherd your sheep, and others will be your farmers and your vineyard people. Rav Chizda asks, I think the point is that there won't be a sun and a moon. Ki melech Hashem tzvakis. Melech or malach? Ki malach Hashem tzvakis. Uchsiv v'hayu or levana kor chama. But so on the one hand it says there won't be a sun and moon. On the other hand it says that the sun of the moon, the light of the moon will be like the light of the sun. V'or chama, the light of the sun, yeshivasayim ke or shivasayom, will be 7 times like the light of the like the light of the 7 days. So the one hand we're saying no sun and no moon. On the other hand we're saying starke sun, starke moon. Lokash it's no problem. Kan limos Mashiach, kan olam haba. It depends. Limos Mashiach, there will be like a very starke sun, starke moon. Le'olam haba, ben olam haba, which I think is after Yemos Mashiach. I don't know how much we're gonna get into. I don't know. What am I up to? I'm up to like Tzadi Dalet or something. So I think we're gonna get more into this kind of stuff. I don't know. There's like distinctions between Yemos Mashiach is just like this world when Mashiach comes. I think Olam Haba I think is more of like a spiritual kind of place. So in Olam Haba there's going to be so much light from the Rebbeinu Shalom that it'll be like Uvosha. What was it? V'chofra alvano Uvosha Chama. Ulishmul de Omar ein bein Olam Hazeh Lemos Mashiach l'Shibud Malchus Bavad. What about Shmuel, who says that the only difference between the world as we know it now and Yemos Mashiach is Shibud Malchus Bavad? As we know very well, the whole, there are many countries in this world that give the Yidden and give Eretz Yisrael a very, very difficult time, and that won't be the case. The Yemos Mashiach, that simply won't be the case. Lokasha, no problem. Kam b'machane tzaddik, kam b'machane shchina. So if we say that there is the only difference between now and the Yemos Mashiach is Shibud Malchus Bavad, so there's no difference in the sun. So then, if that's the case, then both are talking about Olam Haba, and it just depends where the tzaddikim are then, that's where it'll be like a starke sun, starke moon, but machne shchina, everything is just going to be v'chafra alvana v'oshachama relative to the Rabbanu Shalom. Rava asks, Ksiv ani omes v'achaya. It says that I put to death and I resurrect. Meaning, as people died, they are resurrected. If they were blind, then they're resurrected blind. Uchsiv machatzti v'ani erpa. And it says, I heal everybody. Amar Kadosh Baruch Hu, Masha ani memis ani mechaya. That so where am I? Right. So basically, we're saying it's like we said earlier with Rish Lakish that if you die blind, so then you're resurrected blind, but then the Rabbanu Shalom heals you. Tana Rabbanu, the rabbis thought ani omes ve'achaya. I think is it ani omes ve'achaya. Where am I? When it says that I put to death and bring back to life, how do you know that it's talking about the same person? It's talking about the resurrection of the dead. Maybe it's talking about two different people. This person dies, that person is born, right? What was it? Just like things are now, right? People die, people are born. So it says, right? It's the same passage. It says machatzti vani erpe mechitza v'refuah be'echad. So just like machatzti vani erpe is referring to right. The injury and the healing is referring to the same person. So af misa b'chaim be'echad. So also being dying and then coming back to life is also talking about the same person. Mikan. This is a response to those who say that there's no source for Tchias HaMesim in the Holy Torah. Tanya Amar Reb Meir says, Reb Meir, Menayin the Tchias HaMesim in the Torah? How do we know that Tchias HaMesim is in the Torah? Shneimar, the Pasuk says, Az Yashir Moshe v'nei Yisrael es Ashir Azos LaHashem Shar Lo Nemer. It doesn't say Az Shar Moshe v'nei Yisrael. No, Ela Yashir in the future. Mikan Tchias HaMesim bin Torah. So that's how we know that Tchias HaMesim is in the Torah, that they will come back to life and sing. And similarly it says, Az Yivnei Yoshua Mizbeach LaHashem, that Yoshua will build an altar to God. Bana lo nemer doesn't say he built, Ela Yivnei, rather he will build. Mikan Tchias HaMesim in the Torah. So we see here a proof for Tchias HaMesim in the Torah that he will be brought back to life and build. El Me'ato Az Yivnei Shloimo Bama L'chmosh. Bama L'chmosh. Shikutz Moab, Achinami D'Yivne. What does that also mean? That Shlomo Melech is going to come back and build an altar for Avodah Zarah? Ela Maila Olav because of Kilu Bono. No, rather it's saying it's as if he built it, but it does. It's not that. That isn't talking about the Tchias HaMesim. Amr B'Shua Malevi says B'Shua Malevi Menayin the Tchias HaMesim in the Torah. Where do we have Tchias HaMesim in the Torah? Shenemar Ashrei Yoshvei Veisecha Oidi Alucha. Odi alucha sela. Hilalucha lo nemar ela yahalalucha. Minchan Tchias HaMesim in the Torah. It says, right, fortunate are those who sit in your house. They will in the future praise you. I.e., there will be Tchias HaMesim and they will praise. Anybody who says praise and song in this world, will merit to sing the songs in the world to come. Shnemar Ashrei Yoshvei V'Secha Odi Halalucha. So Amar B'chir B'Abba Reb Yochanan Menayin L'Tchias HaMesim in Torah Shnemar Kol Tzofayich Nosnu Kol Yachtav Yuranenu V'Gomer. I think Rinenu Lo Nemar Ela Yuranenu Min Kain Tchias HaMesim Min HaTorah. Okay, what do you want me to tell you? Amar B'chir B'Abba Amar Yochanan Asidin Konavim Kulan Lo Mashir B'Kol Echad Shnemar Kol Tzofayich Nosnu Kol Yachtav Yuranenu. Okay, all the prophets are going to say Shira with one voice. It says Yachtav Yuranenu. Okay. Where are we? Let's stop here. Alright, lots and lots of I got it. I hope you enjoyed. Peace out.